This video is dedicated to the memory of David Crosby, 1941 to 2023. Good morning, everybody. We're going to continue the week of reviews with our look at David Crosby's last album to be released before he passed away in January of this year. This is a live album and DVD, live at the Capitol Theater, with the Lighthouse Band, made up of Michael Leeds, Michelle Willis, David, and Becca Stevens. And it was recorded at the Capitol Theater during either the Lighthouse tour or the Here If You Listen tour. This is primarily a acoustic flavored concert. There is no percussion. It's just the four of them on stage. It kind of reminds me of the CSN acoustic tours of the early 90s, in particular the 91 acoustic tour, in that there is mainly acoustic instrumentation, although there are some electric guitar parts played throughout the show. As I said, this is David's last album that was released on December 9th, 2022 through BMG. And every song on the record I love, but in particular my my favorites are Laughing, which was originally which originally appeared on David's first solo record, If Only I Could Remember My Name. And I had had a live version of it. I've had several live versions of it. There's one on Four-Way Street, and there's one on Another Stony Evening with Graham. But this particular version is one of my favorites because Becca Stevens and Michelle Willis, they recreated Joni Mitchell's original vocal parts from the original version on If Only I Could Remember My Name. But David starts out by himself, and then the rest of the band joins him, and it is a masterful version. And I think Michelle Willis sounds a lot like Joni Mitchell. I don't know if that is due in part to the fact that she's from Canada, or but she sounds eerily like Joni, especially on Laughing. And another one of my favorites is from the record Lighthouse, which I believe they're touring behind for this. it's a song called "In This" or "The City." It kind of reminds me of the song "Put Your Baggage Down" from the Crosby record, which we will be covering in a later video. Um, in that it is it kind of reminds me of kind of a rap number, kind of a funky number. But they also do a very, very nice version of Woodstock, which I had never heard David do uh, by himself. Um, it is drastically different from CSN the CSNY version, uh, but actually it was um, um, it's very, very good. And they also do, as far as the old songs go, of course they do Guinevere, and as always it was dedicated to Jan Crosby, David's wife. And, you know, it, hearing, and this version of Guinevere, for me, is good, but at the same time, it's kind of highly emotional for me because, you know, I am so used to hearing David and Graham do it and knowing that they weren't getting along at this point was kind of highly emotional for me, and I because you know David and Graham's versions of Guinevere are so ingrained in my brain that hearing somebody else do them with David, do the song with David, other than when he does it by himself, is kind of is kind of jarring, but it's good, you know, and um, but and I just love the new songs and the songs from Lighthouse. And here if you listen, there's really not a bad song on here on the live record. And one note that I wanted to point out is that the set list on the CD matches the set list on the DVD, except for David tells and this is one of the coolest parts of the DVD because I'd always kind of wondered what laughing was about, and uh, you know, David gives this big long explanation as far as you know what the song "Laughing" was about, and he basically, to cut a long story short, he wrote it for George Harrison, and we he wrote it for George, and I had no idea. It kind of came out of left field for me, but that story, and I wish they would have included that story on the CD, but they didn't. But it is on the DVD, and David's trademark humor is as part of the show as well, and I love the version of of Deja Vu on here, that's on here as well, because it kind of reminds me of as if Steely Dan would do, would have covered Deja Vu, and because um, David is highly influenced by Steely Dan, and I think part of that comes from the also the influence of his son James Raymond's writing, because James kind of has that Steely Danish kind of bent to his songwriting and record production. But that's another review. Um, so, and so I hope you enjoy this.